If you're over 50 and you've started noticing more hair on your pillow, in the shower drain, or on your brush, you're not alone. More than half of all men, and roughly 1 in 4 women, will experience visible hair thinning by this age. For decades, the honest options were expensive drugs with unwanted side effects, transplant surgery, or simply accepting it. But clinical research has uncovered something surprising, a common plant oil that, in a head-to-head medical trial, matched the performance of a leading pharmaceutical hair loss treatment, without its side effects. Today, we'll look at what the science actually says, how it works inside the follicle, exactly how to use it, and what results you can realistically expect. To understand why this oil works, we first need to understand what's really happening inside a thinning follicle, because hair loss is not just about aging, stress, or shampoo. The main driver is a hormone called DHT, dihydrotestosterone. Here's how it works. Your body produces testosterone. An enzyme called 5-alpha reductase converts a portion of that testosterone into DHT, a hormone roughly 3 to 5 times more powerful at binding androgen receptors. In hair follicles that are genetically sensitive to DHT, and yes, women produce DHT too, the hormone attaches to receptors inside the follicle and slowly strangles it. Scientists call this process miniaturization. Each hair's growth phase gets shorter with every cycle. Hairs grow back finer, shorter, and paler. Over years, a thick terminal hair shrinks into a nearly invisible vellus hair, and eventually the follicle goes dormant. That's androgenetic alopecia, the condition behind more than 95% of hair loss in men. But here's the discovery that changed everything. Researchers realized miniaturization is not instant death. A struggling follicle is starved of blood flow, starved of nutrients, and flooded with inflammatory signals. And that starvation is exactly what certain natural compounds can help reverse. That brings us to the oil itself. Rosemary essential oil, pressed from the fragrant herb Rosmarinus officinalis. Rosemary has a long rhizome. Ancient Egyptians placed it in tombs. Greek students wore it in their hair while studying. Traditional Mediterranean medicine used it on the scalp for centuries. Interesting folklore, but folklore isn't evidence. So in 2015, dermatology researchers put it to a proper test. They recruited 100 men with androgenetic alopecia and split them randomly into 2 groups. One group used minoxidil 2%, the standard drugstore treatment, for 6 months. The other group massaged diluted rosemary oil into the scalp, following the identical schedule. Neither the men nor the investigators evaluating the results knew who was in which group. After 6 months, the outcome stunned even the researchers. Both groups showed a statistically significant increase in hair count, and there was no significant difference between them. The rosemary group matched minoxidil. The only difference appeared in side effects. The drug group reported significantly more scalp itching and irritation. The study was published in the peer-reviewed journal SKI-Med, and it remains one of the most cited natural hair loss trials to date. So rosemary oil earned its reputation in a controlled human trial, not in a marketing meeting. The next question is the one scientists always ask: how? Research points to 3 mechanisms working together. First, blood flow. Rosemary oil causes vasodilation, widening the microscopic capillaries that feed each follicle. Remember, a thinning follicle is a starving follicle. Better microcirculation means more oxygen, more nutrients, and better removal of waste, conditions that nudge dormant follicles back toward the growth phase. Second, nerve signaling. Rosemary's most studied compound, carnosic acid, supports nerve growth factor, a protein that maintains the nerve connections around each follicle. Animal research has shown that when those nerve fibers degenerate, hair growth stalls, and stimulating them can restart it. Interestingly, minoxidil also works partly through this pathway, which may explain why the 2 treatments performed so similarly. Third, and this is the headline, anti-DHT activity. Laboratory studies show that rosemary compounds can reduce the activity of 5-alpha reductase, the very enzyme that manufactures DHT, and interfere with DHT binding at the follicle. To be clear, this effect is gentle compared to prescription drugs like finasteride. But unlike finasteride, rosemary oil works locally on the scalp without altering hormone levels across your body, which is why users avoid the systemic side effects associated with the drug. Rosemary oil isn't working alone in the research literature. 2 other natural compounds have earned real data behind them. Pumpkin seed oil, taken as a daily supplement, was tested in a 24-week randomized trial in men with pattern hair loss. The supplemented group developed significantly higher hair counts than the placebo group. Researchers believe its phytosterols act as another natural check on 5-alpha reductase, attacking DHT from the inside, while rosemary works from the outside. Then there's saw palmetto, a palm berry extract that several small clinical studies found modestly improved hair density. It's one of the most studied natural 5-alpha reductase inhibitors in the world, gentler than finasteride, but measurably active. The takeaway from the science is simple. These aren't miracle cures. They're mild, well-tolerated tools that nudge biology in your favor, and they appear to work best combined with good technique. If you decide to try this, technique matters enormously. Here's the evidence-based protocol. Rule 1. Never apply rosemary essential oil undiluted. Pure essential oil can irritate or even burn the skin. Mix 3 to 5 drops into a teaspoon of a carrier oil. Jojoba, argan, or grapeseed all work, or buy a pre-diluted product at 3 to 5% concentration. Rule 2. Apply it where you need it every day. Target the thinning zones, hairline, part line, crown, and massage it in with firm fingertips for at least 4 minutes. That number isn't random. A Japanese study found that 4 minutes of standardized daily scalp massage, continued for 24 weeks, measurably increased hair thickness. The mechanical stretching appears to activate genes inside dermal papilla cells that drive the growth phase. Rule 3. Give it time to sit. Leave it on overnight if possible, or at least 30 minutes before washing. And Rule 4. Document everything. Take photos every month. Same lighting, same angle, same distance. Hair changes slowly, and month-to-month memories lie. Photos don't. Always patch test on your inner arm 48 hours before first use. Let's be honest about expectations, because this is where most videos mislead you. Hair operates on slow biological clocks. In months 1 and 2, expect little visible change. Some people notice reduced shedding. Months 3 and 4 often bring the first short baby hairs at the hairline. Real, visible density typically shows between months 4 and 6, which is exactly why the clinical trial lasted 6 months. This approach works best for early and moderate thinning. If an area has been completely bald and shiny for many years, those follicles are usually scarred over and will not respond to any oil, drug, or serum. And some causes of hair loss have nothing to do with DHT, sudden patchy loss, thyroid problems, low iron, situations that need a dermatologist, not a bottle of herbs. Used correctly, though, rosemary oil is safe, inexpensive, backed by genuine clinical data, and free of the sexual and hormonal side effects linked to prescription pills. For millions of people, that makes it the smartest first move. If you found this useful, subscribe. Every week we break down the real science behind health claims, with citations you can check yourself. Tell us in the comments, what should we investigate next? And remember, this video is for education, not personal medical advice. Talk to your doctor before starting anything new. See you in the next one.